We're going to pull this cover and we're going to put a locker in here. Enough clearance to get the tires off, so we're going to pull the tires, pull the cover, drain it, pull the axles, and pull the spider gears out and put the locker in. Pulled the tires and just lay them on top just for safety's sake, just because. And the brake drums, and as you can tell, yep, all brand new. Seems like they're wearing pretty good. But now we're going to pull it. We'll get the drain pan underneath here and we're going to pull that. All right, before you start dumping stuff, I would suggest getting you some kind of drain, because this is actually in the way kind of, but the pan is actually big enough to get underneath the lip. So this is one of those that this was an extra that they had at the dealership where my son works, so it was a freebie. That's kind of cool. He's thinking of me. This is why nuts and bolt checks can be very important. The only tight one on this was here. All the rest of these were basically just finger tight. So always check after a build, after you've had them apart, and go through and do a nut and bolt check, because I'm going to be checking all this stuff. We're basically going to take the bottom ones out and then loosen these and let it drain. It'll give me a chance to see what the fluid is like after, it's been about a year since we did this on this rear end. Popped it open and cleaned everything and checked everything out. So, I mean, probably a good thing that I'm doing this and checking this. I'm feeling pretty thankful right now because it has been 100 degrees, and now today we got a 75-ish today, an overcast, and so the humidity is low. I'm pretty thankful right now. Well, it wasn't leaking because of the silicone job held. Get this up out of the way, just like that. And let me see, I need a screwdriver. So you just find a corner, get a screwdriver up behind it, because she's sealed pretty good. Yep, she's sealed up good. She's stuck. All right, let's see if this helps. There we go. There we go. Now she's brown. She's a combo. I think that's a mixture of the old stuff and the new stuff, actually. She had a little bit of brown in her. Well, maybe it's a good thing that I changed this out again after a year, because she smells pretty rank, pretty ripe already. I think that's a combo of the old stuff. Definitely smells like differential grease. All right. Well, the silicone did its job. It's hanging. It's hanging. All right, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Good job. Well, she don't look too worse for wear. I mean, there's no steel in it. I can't see any. There's no debris in it. That's a good thing. None. No debris. I think that was just leftovers from when we changed it the first time. I mean, there's no grit in here at all. None. So I think we're pretty good for the pinion here. I need to get her in neutral and be able to spin this thing with the drive shaft on it. But nope. No, I'm happy with that. Okay, she's pretty much done draining, and I did some scraping, and I think we're pretty dry, so we can get this out of our way. Now I need to turn this carrier so I can get this pin out, and there's a bolt up here, so I need to turn it. That's about a half a turn on drive shaft to see what it did. Well, it looks like I got to do more. Okay. Honey, I need your help. I need your eyeballs. Here we go.
There's a nut right there.
Yep.
Right there.
Is it where I can get a hold of it?
Yep.
Okay, and does where it looks like the shaft could drop out? Yep, well, yep, there's the nut.
Uh-huh.
And then the shaft should be right here, yeah. Right there, yep.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room for it to come out.
Okay. I didn't know how if you needed it more or not.
Oh, that's good.
Willie, you think this is a good investment, do you?
Great investment. This has been a great investment. Yeah, that's what I need right there.
Okay.
And then I'll have to spin it once I get that bolt out and I get the pieces out. I'll have to spin it a little bit more. But
why are you taking that out?
Because where those gears are is where that new locker part goes in.
Oh, okay.
That makes it where right now it only pulls on one tire.
Oh, okay.
Whatever tire is in the mud, it's where the one it pulls. Like my cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so we're making it where both tires pull at the same time.
Oh, okay. You're making a posse.
I'm making the posse. We're making the posse. That's right.
I just watched Nona's.
Oh, okay. Making the.
Or I should say I listened to Nona.
You listen to Nona. We're making the posse. Yeah. Here. It looks like it's going to be somewhere about a ½ inch. It's half. Just a matter of, it's not really that super tight. It's just a matter of breaking it loose. Because this is drives in and this holds the pin in place. Alright, it's got a lock washer on it. And this is definitely one of those you want to put in your pocket or don't lose it, because people that get these, they pay dearly for those. See, that's what it looks like. All right. Yep, just a pin. We're gonna put that where we can't lose it. Yep, and it's supposed to pull out just this easy. All right, and there's your hole for your pin, and that is the main thing that holds all these gears in. What I want to do is I want to get this from around where I'm looking right at it, just like this. Right here, this and this right here is your axles going out through the tubes to the, to the brakes and all this. And this is your spider gears. It's either already moving around. So you can just pull it out just like that. I didn't want that back there, but it's not hard to get to. And now we need to push. You need to push the axles in to get the C-clips out, so we can get these out. Okay. And you just come around here to the hub, and you just push in, just like that. And I'll come around to this side, and I'll push in, just like that. And I think I just heard them fall. And that is a C-clip. I had one fall. Here's that one right here. There we go. And you got two. All right. We'll clean those up. Now that the C-clips are out, now we can grab a hold of the axles and pull them out of the way so we can get these out. And then one that's in the back there. They just slide right out. All right. Ooh, yeah, there's where the roundness came from. I need to clean these. They had some debris, but this is the main thing I'm looking at right here. This is the main thing I'm looking at right here, and this is this surface right here. And she's in great shape. So there's sometimes you'll get into here and they'll be ate completely up, but this is not. This is smooth and nice, just like a bearing surface. But this is old rust, sitting for years. And of course, what do you know? Dirt dauber, right there. Dirt dauber's already in my stuff. Okay, clean that out. Daggum Oklahoma, dirt daubers, washers. Okay, so she's actually, the seal is actually really good. Let me get some cleaner. That surface is your tell whether your bearing is good or bad. If the bearing was bad, it'd be eating into that axle. And that's what I love about these things. They are tough. They're bulletproof. Let's see what we got. There we go. Pretty much the same thing. Yep, same crud on the shafts. All right, so we got lucky. Even though it's been sitting and it rusted inside there. And all of this, that's why I love these things. They are so beefy, 30 spline axles. And they just, once you get here, they basically just pull out of their hole. just like this. Just wiggle them out. There you go. And that one. And this one. Yep. Just like that. And see, 30 spline axles, 30 splines. That's what the axle's spline onto. And then we can just reach right back in here and get that gear out. If you've ever wondered, this is your ring and pinion. This is your ring gear and your pinion gear is that one up front. This one up front up here. And that one spins and this one turns off of that gear. And I don't like taking them apart because I don't have the tools. You need dial gauges and bores and stuff to do all this. But as long as the wear pattern looks beautiful, there's no nicks and chips or nothing missing, I'm going to leave it alone. And this is a great little unit. I paid extra for the better unit of the two. They have a $300 unit or $500 unit, and I bought the better one of the two. So let's get this installed. Okay, step one is verify the gaps in all these are lined up. We're talking about it's like this and this is lined up with that. All right, to make sure that they're all lined up like that on both sides. And I think we're good. Okay, now there's one gap. You can see it's right here and it's right here. All right, now that gap is for this piece. It has that tange on it right there. That gap is for it to fit in just like that. And then it fits inside the cradle, right? That's what that's for. And it's on the same way on both of them. See? All right. Okay, and this is what it should look like. Once you're there, I just put it, go in the saddles right there. There's little holes at these springs, and what you're going to have left is you're going to have an inner and outer spring like that left in the deal. So everything is coated with grease, and we are keeping everything separate. All right. Then the next step is we got to put the outer pieces inside here. So all right. Yep. Up in there like that. Okay. Now it says push through and install my C-clip on this side. Okay, so we're going to push the axle in, and this is probably going to push that out, and then we'll put it back on and we'll put the C-clip in it. And I'll show you how to do the C-clip. Of course it pushed it right out, so we're just going to put this back in here, get it on the splines, just like that. Okay, and there's your groove for your C-clip, and here's your C-clip. And a little trick with C-clip, just put some extra grease on it too. It'll hold it into place. All right, and it just slides right on just like this. All right, doesn't really matter how it goes on. A little extra grease will hold it in place right there. And that's all there is to it. And the trick is you've got to find that spot where this piece goes in here, and you want it facing towards you. So we got to find that spot again. There it is, right there, widest spot. Okay, this one is in just same thing. There's that one gap that it'll fit in, right? And the one gap is right here, so I have to slide it in like this. All right, they have to match. Boom, just like that. Would you like to be part of something special? Uncle Buck's Garage now has memberships, and that's a open opportunity to be behind the scenes, to get information nobody else gets to see, to see things, possibly get to see things before anybody else sees them, things like that. If you would like that opportunity, there's a link down below for the memberships for Uncle Buck's Garage. Please sign up. Okay, see all that nice axle grease squished out, and we still got our springs in place. Now that's for the rod, okay? The springs are for the rod. Now the second one, that space has to be on the back side, like this. Here's your space for this, all right? But this one has to be facing away, because we got studs here to go in the saddle, and we got saddles here for the studs in the back. So it's got to go in this way. All right, so opposite of what this one was put in, okay? Now this one should slide in. I gotta get it through the saddle, so I gotta get this straightened up here. So I can look at it. Okay. And then this one has to be back here like this. Yep. Come on. Come on, get in there, baby. And then this one needs to lock in just like that. Okay. Just like that. All right. Now you see how there's full engagement here on the teeth? That's important. All right. So we're going to push this back out. Okay. So now we got springs and springs. Passenger side pointing that way. Driver side pointing this way. All right. And we have springs. The springs and everything's in place. So it says with it like this to rotate the driver's side a quarter of a turn, because we got to put a spring packet into a slot. Oh, okay, right there. All right. You put the inner spring inside the outer spring, and you basically stick it in this hole. Too hard, not difficult. Now we got to go a half turn to put this in on the other side. Yep. All right. Make sure it's seated. There's just a little pocket in there, and it's in there a little loose. So then I think we got to put a C-clip in. What we got to do, we got to move it around until we get the C-clip slot right here, so that we can put the C-clip in the axle. So basically you gotta just maneuver it around until inside that slot you see that part of the axle, which is, you just gotta line it up so you can get the C-clip in. All right. Then we'll take our screwdriver. Yep. And we'll slide that in, and then we'll push the axle out. Boom. And it's done. Push the axle up, and that one now is clipped in there. Now we got to rotate it back quarter turn to get the rod in, and I need to do this. Yep. And I need to align it with this, just like that. All right. C-clip is in, so it has. As you don't remember, a stock one has little grooves in it for the spider gear stuff. This one is a straight rod. We'll put a little on this one too, just because. All right. Now remember, you got to make that line up with that hole. Okay. So we're going to go in like this. Already engaging. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. You just got to jiggle it a little bit to get it in where you want it to go. And then we're going to use the shaft. Make sure, yep, there she went. Okay, axles are engaged. You can see through the slots. I can't get you a good shot of the slots, but the axles are out. They're engaged. Everything is the way it should be. We got axle grease all over everything, so it should have nice protection for first use. So basically what the instructions are telling me is that while the drive shaft is not adding any power to this differential, she should be floating, which means you should gap up about that amount on both sides and disengage and let it roll whatever it wants to roll, as long as the drive shaft is not putting any torque to it. Okay, but once you hit the pedal and power is applied, everything flashes out and locks in. Both tires are pulling the whole way. That way, there's warnings in the instructions about once you do this, it will disengage once you're off the throttle. If you're idling down, you know, going into a turn. But if you try to put the beans to it before you straighten down the turn, it's going to try to push. Because as soon as that drive shaft applies power, these flare out and lock in just like this. And they turn into a full locker system. But this is a floating locker, so when it's under its own power and you're idling and just coasting, these will disengage and allow the tires to move independently. Yet they said Richmond, but I got Master Pro 75-140, which is what they call for this setup, 75-140, full synthetic, which I prefer full synthetic in the cases here. The reason I haven't put the cover on yet is because the paint on it is drying. But if you ever in a situation where you want to put the gasket on, this is what I do. I put the bottom 6 on. You ask why the bottom 6? Well, the fluid runs right here, and I want this surface to be stuck. So that's why these are just finger tight. These are not, I did not use the socket. I did not use the wrench. All I did was finger tighted these in to hold them in place with a couple up top for the silicone, because it's going to be several hours for that paint is dry. But Velcro gasket, sealer on silicone sealer. I use Ultra Black on both sides, and then the cover goes on. You bolt it back in, and you remember you have a long bolt for this one, and you have short bolts for everywhere else. But you have one long bolt. That's this one. That goes here where the brake bracket goes on, and then it's a matter of pushing on the wheels certain directions to make sure she's working right, adding the fluid, and then we're on the road to make a test hit. Now this was not that hard of an installation at all, not really at all. It went in pretty good. Go by the instructions, go step by step, and you should have no problems. But this is the cheapest, most best way to do a posi rear end-ish. I gotta say ish because it's not actually a posi. It's a locker under power and a coaster coasting. Okay, but I've had cars with spools. I've had cars with mini spools, but to do this the right way, you would have to buy a new carrier, the carrier part that's a posi already built-in carrier. But that means pulling this whole assembly out, and you got to have special tools and mics and things like that to get it set back in correctly. And I don't have those tools, so this was the next best thing, and we'll see how she does. But so far, I'm happy. Okay, she's all buttoned up, and I don't know if you realize, but that's the same color as the wheels. And this is the paint that I use. This is Krylon's Fusion, and it's metallic aluminum, and it pops against that housing. But to tighten this down, you know, sealer around the gasket that was already on there, and you crisscross. You do just like you would if you're bolting up a 12 bolt rim. You just crisscross, and you double check. So that's it. She's ready to go now. Now I won't have a video about this showing it off because I need to break this in for a week or two of driving around the neighborhood and just easing into it and letting it get comfortable in its new home. but it'll happen. But I had to do one last thing. It came with a sticker. So, yeah, I just had to. It came with a sticker. What are you going to do? I like the sticker. It works. So if you want to see my best little video ever made, right here. If you want to see the one that they say is best for you, is right there. Y'all be good.